179 people died when a plane from Jeju Air crashed on a runway in South Korea. A bird strike had damaged at least one of the engines when the pilot was approaching the airport. It forced him to make an emergency landing, but for some reason, the landing gear didn't deploy and the plane just kind of skidded down the runway off the end, and then it smashed into a cinder block structure at the end of the runway. And investigators are still working out the details of the crash, but some experts are now placing the blame on that concrete structure. It had housed some guidance equipment. It helped pilots land their planes at night. And one air safety expert, David Learmont, told Sky News that the structure should have never been there in the first place. Definitely not so close to the end of the runway. And when other airports build them, they make them to be collapsible instead of just a solid slab of cinder blocks like this one was. And he said if it wasn't there, the plane would have just busted through a perimeter fence of the airport and skidded to a halt in a grassy field, and maybe everybody would have been fine. And another expert for the Korean Association for Aviation Security expressed similar views to the New York Times. They expressed concerns with that structure. But all of that said, Korean officials are insisting that the building fell within regulations and it didn't actually break any rules, although they are talking about revisiting those rules in the wake of this tragedy. And in that Sky News report, one expert named Sally Gethin, she said that while it wasn't smart for the building to be there in the first place, the plane was just moving so fast that it probably wouldn't have mattered. It probably would have broken apart anyway. And I should also point out that the plane was going down the runway backwards. So after the bird hit the engine, the pilot aborted the landing and tried to circle back around for another landing, but apparently he ran out of time and had to enter the runway from the opposite end, putting him straight towards that structure. And again, a lot of the specific details about what happened are still coming out, and we will keep y'all updated as we learn more.